From my birthday party planning to a hospital at the speed of light, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. John Lennon. Ladies and gentlemen, a journey of enduring over 200 injections and missing out on a lot of friends' birthday parties and vacations, which in my opinion have made me a lot stronger, but also left me with a thirst for partying and having fun. But that's not the point. On the 18th of April 2008 at 11:45 a.m., everything changed. My family was told that I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. My dad, who thinks that he's very strong, fainted upon hearing the news. For those of you that don't know what acute lymphoblastic leukemia is, ALL is a type of cancer that affects the white blood cells. These cells fight against infection and help protect the body against diseases. I was born on the 25th of April 2005. So when my family was told that I had cancer, they figured that I'd be spending my third and a few more birthdays in a hospital room. Now I don't remember too much of my time there except flashes. I remember some of the painful injections. I remember my mother sticking by me every night and crying. I remember ordering McDonald's almost every day. But out of the whole traumatic experience, I remember my room. There was a small TV in the corner that played a show that shaped my childhood, Tom and Jerry. The pink curtains that always reflect the sun, the mechanical bed, and a small sofa on which my mother used to sleep on. Nothing was clearer to me than my life's contrast to what I've heard from my friends. The treatment went on, and so did time. When I was 6, I finally checked out of the hospital and moved back home, even though the hospital remained a constant. It was around this time that I fell in love with the idea of sport. Staying in top physical and mental condition, the lust for competition. Looking back at it, I now realize why I was so good at board games. It's the thrill of competing, you see. And that is why I love sports. I believe that sports brings out the best in me. I've always been able to rely on it through sickness and through health, in good days and the bad. It's something I can't live without. At home, there was a continuous rambling on cricket, and so naturally I started playing and loving the sport too. I remember after the session in the hospital, I'd come back home all tear eyed, but my brother used to make sure that we played a game of cricket with a few friends to lighten up the mood. When I was 9, right after I was declared cancer free, I remember this one fateful day when I found myself on a tennis court, watching my dad play. Now, originally I preferred cricket, but something about tennis spoke to me. I started with just picking up the balls on the court and simply watching my dad play. I was mesmerized. Just something about the aggression, the selfish desire of wanting to win every point, and the feeling of being out there on your own was really captivating. And so before I knew it, my dad had bought me my first racket, and I was hooked instantly. Being an athlete brings forth a new learning every day. It teaches discipline, problem solving, independence, and builds a fighting spirit which makes you never want to give up. Although I do believe that I've got part of that fighting spirit from my days at the hospital, a young toddler desperately clinging on to his life. But due to God's grace and the support from my parents, I survived. They still continue to support me in pursuing my dream of becoming a top professional tennis player. Throughout my career, I've had many ups and downs, but I've always been able to rely on my mom and dad for accepting my losses and motivating me to pick myself up from the lows. I do remember this one point of time when I couldn't win a single match, and naturally, I was being a little too harsh on myself. My parents, however, were patient and understanding. My mother gave up her entire social life for a few months just to spend time with me, helping me gain confidence again and making sure I'm full of positivity and happiness. I guess she was my personal chauffeur for a bit too. Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. It's something I learned and it's something I tell myself every time I walk into a tennis court. A simple quote, but carrying loads of meaning. As a child who's risen from cancer to becoming a professional athlete, that quote is the reason I'm out there giving it my all. I do agree that becoming a professional isn't everyone's cup of tea. It involves sacrifice upon sacrifice. You're literally sacrificing time, food, friends, and sometimes even time with family. There are often times when I don't get to see my dad for days, as he's busy supporting the financial aspect of the sport and making sure I get the best of equipment and training. Like I said, being a professional can get difficult. There are times when everything's going your way and you love the sport with all your heart. And there are times when everything gets so difficult that you hate the sport and want to quit. But once you've endured through the hardship, you become mentally tougher in not just the game, but in life too. So far, my career has been a roller coaster. There have been good times, like when I represented the country, for example, or won my first tournament. But then I've also been times when I'm unable to win a match for months. And believe me, I hate losing. I absolutely despise it. However, in the words of Master Yoda, failure is the best teacher. At the end of the day, everything in sport is about heart. And no, I'm not talking about that red cartoon shaped heart. I'm talking about passion, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that if you're truly passionate about something, you will be willing to go the farthest of distances to achieve your dream. Last thing I would like to speak about is fear. Fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. As soon as I stepped out of the hospital, I knew my survival was meant for something greater, and the ordinary life just wasn't fit for me, which is why I chose the path of a professional athlete. I would also like to add that the memories of my illness have not left me bitter, but I have come out of it convinced that I need to extend myself to those who suffer from the same illness and need support. Somewhere, the entire experience has left me more human, with a desire to extend myself even more in every direction, be it profession or humanity. You are the darkness that you endured. You are the light that refused to surrender. Thank you.